Four senior barristers, four senior law lords, Sandhurst, Speaight, Banner and Cox, have all said that the Rwanda bill as put forward by Cleverly and Sunak and to be voted on Tuesday goes as far as it possibly can. It doesn't satisfy Robert Jenrick, it doesn't satisfy Suella Braverman, who both think that it should involve leaving the ECHR. And they say, the Lords say, that anything more than the letter of this bill would breach Article 13 of the European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, the right to a legal remedy. It could bog down the Rwanda bill in lengthy litigation in the UK and Strasbourg, where judges would be most likely to fast-track a legal case against the United Kingdom. That in turn would compromise the Good Friday Agreement, and I think that is the key problem. Also, the arrangements that we've got with Albania, that we've got with France, but particularly with Albania, would collapse if we are shown to have complete contempt for the ECHR. I think even going so far, I think the bill as it stands so far is pushing to the very edge of acceptance and possibly going beyond that. I think the Lords are mistaken even in this, even in considering this is acceptable. I think it isn't. But anything more would be outrageous. And I trust this bill will be defeated, if not in the House of Commons and certainly in the House of Lords. The law lords say legislation which mandated the removal of somebody without the right of appeal, despite clear evidence that this would result in them suffering death or serious and irreversible inhumane treatment, would test the assumption of the supremacy of Parliament. And if the Supreme Court were to quash or disapply an act of Parliament on domestic constitutional grounds for the first time, it would be impossible to put the constitutional genie back in the bottle. And I think they're right about that. That if this law were to go any further, it would break this very delicate balance. I think this law itself breaks that delicate balance, and I think the law lords have identified the real area where there is a problem. The real area where there is a problem is constitutional. It's not about refugees. It's about the delicate relationship between Britain and the international community, but it's also about the delicate relationship between the government and the people. And simply because the government says something does not mean that is automatically a fact. Simply because the government defines this animal as a cat doesn't deny the reality that it is woofing and barking and therefore a dog. A government cannot define something into existence in the same way as, despite all the beauty of the argument, Anselm's ontological argument fails ultimately because you cannot define something into existence. And although the law lords don't come out against this bill as it stands, I think that paragraph in their letter early this morning demonstrates that this bill is a problem. And I think that's the area where lawyers in the House of Lords, where lords in the House of Lords should look, because the bill will end up in the House of Lords and will be challenged there, and it needs to be challenged not on the grounds of whether people support or don't support refugees. That is a red herring. The issue is about the nature of law, the nature of power, and the incipient move towards tyranny, and the desperation to cling on to power in the fading days of a Conservative administration that has proven to be very, very, very shaken by Brexit.